Thank you, Laredo. We love you guys.
Good morning. I am Jose Gomez, Commander of American Legion Arturo T. Benavides Memorial Post 59, and take this opportunity to thank you for being here this beautiful morning. I'm amazed how our city celebrated our veterans this past week. The Slaughter Park Trail was officially named as a Korean Veterans Walking Trail by our city officials. Our VA clinic sponsored a very nice event for veterans at Vietnam Veterans Plaza. It's a beautiful plaza. If you can, you need to stop by and maybe take a walk there. This past Saturday, something unbelievable happened. The unveiling of a monument at the Catholic Cemetery with the 28 names of our veterans who passed during the Vietnam War was unveiled, and it was a beautiful event. In 1968, during the military draft, 3.5 million served in the military. Today, listen to this, about 1.3 serve as volunteers. Ladies and gentlemen, that is less than 1% of the U.S. population. That is why we should thank veterans for their service. If you are sitting next to a veteran, please thank them. Moving along. As usual, con compromiso, we have the presence of Congressman Henry Cuellar. Congressman, welcome. Also in assistance is our LISD Board President, Juan Ramirez. I would like to know if there's any Korean War veterans that maybe can stand up to be recognized. Family members. Vietnam veterans, please stand to be recognized. How about the veterans of foreign wars, Iraq, Afghanistan? Thank you for being here. I want to thank both school districts, United Independent School District and Laredo Independent School District, who has their beautiful band playing for us tonight. And we had a great turnout. I want to thank you all. We now have the invocation by Deacon Gerardo Morales.
Please stand. Primeramente, Santo Padre, manda tus bendiciones a todos los trabajadores, a todos nuestros ejércitos, a todos los veteranos, a todas sus familias. Dales tu bendición. Ayúdanos a comprender, solamente contigo todo es posible. Oh God, your spirit of wisdom fills the earth and all of us and teaches us your ways. Look upon us this Veterans Day as we honor our veterans that are here, that are living, and all that have passed. Blessed are you, Lord God of all creation, whose goodness fills the earth, the hearts, and all of us with joy. Blessed are you who have brought us together this day to celebrate in peace and in harmony. Strengthen us with your grace and wisdom, for you are God forever and ever. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Lord, so many things have passed in the years past, but today is a special day. We're here to commemorate our veterans and their families, and each and every one of us who are grateful for this joyful nation. Help us to understand the ways of this earth and give us the gifts of heaven. We ask this in your name. Amen. The Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Thank you very much for your services.
Thank you, Deacon Morales. Can we have the presentation of colors? Next is our national anthem. Can you please stand? Thank you. Next, we have our Congressman, Henry Cuellar, address you with a lot of positive words, I'm pretty sure. Congressman.
Thank you. First of all, let's hear it for Mr. Gomez. Thank you so much for you and all the veterans. So to all the veterans from Webb County or the surrounding area, God bless you and God bless the United States of America. Let me say something. We got some of the young folks that are present here. And whether you're from the cheering squads or from the band as a former band member, I want to thank UISD, LISD, thank you one for bringing the young folks, because it's important that the young people see the heroes that we have in Webb County called the Webb County veterans like you here today. It is so important. I ask you, UISD, LISD, continue doing this. Bring the young people so they can see the tradition of Veterans Day where we thank the veterans for what they have given us. You know, less than a week ago, we had an election. By the way, to all the veterans, you had my back, and I have your back also. But that day, on election day, it's an important day because this is what you fought for. You fought for democracy. You fought for the First Amendment. You fought to make sure that we have free elections. And for the veterans, America is here. America is strong because of the veterans, the sons and daughters, the brothers and sisters that have given their life and have fought so hard for keeping this republic called America. Thank you so much for that. So today, whether you're from Laredo or Guerrero, Tamaulipas, or from whatever place you might be, we acknowledge the debt that we owe our heroes who have answered the call of duty. The sons, the daughters, the brothers, the sisters, the mothers, the fathers, the aunts, and the uncles who have given so much, and some of them have given their life and left their families and their loved ones behind to defend our country. In my district, I got over 48,000, almost 50,000 veterans in my congressional district. A lot of them live here in Webb County. And I want to thank you so much for what you've done, because we owe it to you to make sure that we never forget your sacrifice and ensure that your legacy continues. And this is why it's so important that the young people are present here today. I sit in one committee called the Appropriations Committee, Homeland Security Subcommittee, Defense Appropriations, but my third one is a very important one to you and to me. It's called the Military Construction Veterans Affair. So the VA is under our jurisdiction in appropriations. And we make sure that we first take care of our troops, to make sure that we remember them and make sure that they got the resources for protecting our country. But also in the VA Appropriations Committee, we want to make sure that the funding is there. And if we need to add more money like we just did in September, where we added an additional $3 billion to make sure that the VA has enough money for compensation, pension, and readjustment benefits, we did that. It is important to make sure that we keep the VA on track. They have to be, not only have the resources, but the VA has to be customer service, because the customer is you, the veteran, and your family. And please make sure that we work together to make sure that they stay customer service. Not only that, we also passed the PACT Act that I think you all are very familiar with. The PACT Act greatly expanded the health care benefits to veterans that were exposed to burn pits and other hazardous conditions as part of their service. We had forgotten about them, and that was not right, and that's why we passed the PACT Act to make sure that we take care of those particular veterans. In fact, as of just recently, we had received in my area over 4,904 claims under the PACT Act. Those are people that we have forgotten, but we cannot forget them, and this is why the PACT Act has been so important to us. Finally, let me just say this. Healthcare and mental health is very important to me. You remember when we first started the little office we had for the clinic. We now have a beautiful office. We have more doctors, we have more services, and we need to continue doing better. A field office, a field clinic is what's next for Laredo, and I will work with the VA. But on top of that, this part of the area for the families that live west of 35, there was not a single health clinic on this side. Just recently on the west side, we opened up a new gateway clinic for the west side community. Just a week ago, we broke ground where we added another $2 million or $2 million clinics for the Mines Road. And soon, for anybody that lives in this area, downtown will get a gateway community clinic so the people that live on this side of 35 will have health care clinics to make sure that the veterans and the families, you can go over there to the clinic, but there'll be something closer west side of the west side of 35. This is what we need to continue working together. Everybody can talk, but it is important that we all roll up our sleeves and get to work. And the only way I can do my job is if I have your support and we work together to make sure that you, the veterans, that you, the families of the veterans, the Gold Star mothers, the Gold Star families, all of y'all get the care that you deserve. With that, I say thank you, God bless you, and God bless the United States of America. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Congressman Cuellar. Now I would like to introduce my keynote speaker who will be we'll be presenting our keynote speaker, Randy Villanueva, Por favor.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, honored guests, fellow veterans. With great pride and respect, I stand before you today to introduce our keynote speaker. First Sergeant Paul Torres retired. First Sergeant Torres is married to Adriana Gaona Torres and is the proud father of two accomplished children, Paul Dante and Ariana Rebecca, who are pursuing their education at Texas A&M International University and Texas A&M University at College Station, respectively. First Sergeant Paul Torres began his journey of service when he enlisted in the Texas Army National Guard in January of 1990, taking on the critical role of a chemical, biological, radiological, nuclear, and high-yield explosive specialist. Over almost 24 years, he dedicated 20 years to active duty, during which he shaped countless soldiers' lives and impacted our military community. First Sergeant Torres' distinguished career is marked by several significant leadership positions. He served as a reconnaissance platoon sergeant, smoke platoon sergeant, and decontamination platoon sergeant, demonstrating his versatility and adaptability. He ultimately advanced to the role of company first sergeant and senior enlisted advisor, where his wisdom and guidance were crucial in leading troops through various challenges. Additionally, his expertise extended to intelligence operations, where he served as an intelligence analyst and group supervisor to a joint counter-drug task force, highlighting the scope of his capabilities. In 2008, First Sergeant Torres was deployed to Afghanistan, taking on the critical role of platoon sergeant for the 436 Security Forces Company, part of the 36th Infantry Division. His unit was tasked with supporting the fourth element of the highly regarded 101st Airborne Division, known for its elite capabilities and historic contributions to military operations. During his deployment, First Sergeant Torres oversaw the force protection and security measures at a forward operating base. This role involved coordinating with various military personnel and assets to establish and maintain rigorous security protocols, conducting regular assessments of potential threats, and implementing strategies to enhance the bases and soldier safety. His commitment to duty demonstrated exceptional leadership qualities and a profound dedication to the welfare of his fellow service members, ensuring they could perform their missions effectively and safely in a challenging and volatile environment. First Sergeant Torres' commitment to professional development is truly inspiring. His extensive military education, which includes the primary leadership development course, the basic non-commissioned officers course, and the advanced non-commissioned officers course, among others, is a testament to his dedication. Additionally, he has pursued further studies at Laredo Community College and Park University and obtained essential certifications from Texas A&M International University. Since 2015, First Sergeant Torres has passionately dedicated himself to uplifting fellow veterans through the Webb County Veterans Treatment Program. His tireless efforts and unwavering commitment to this cause embody a remarkable spirit of service that transcends his military service. Today, we are honored to hear from a leader, mentor, and dedicated servant of our country. Please join me in welcoming First Sergeant Paul Torres to the stage as he shares his insights and experiences.
Good morning, everybody. There you go. Well, first of all, I would like to say thank you. I'm honored and humbled
to be in front of you, to all my fellow veterans, to my community. I want to say thank you very much. Thank you, Randy, for that introduction. I gave you, you did amazing. You got more information that I remember having, but thank you so much, Randy. Thank you, thank you. You made me like a walk on water. When it's frozen, of course, right? 32 degrees. Well, with that said, I would like to add something that was probably not mentioned. Some people know the story about me, not very much, but some people already heard me. I was born here in Laredo, but in the 70s, my father said, you know, the 70s is looking pretty weird. My dad was not very happy how the service members from Vietnam were being treated. He had, back then we were a couple of young kids, me and my brother, my younger brother, and he said, we're going back to Puebla, which is in Mexico, about 3 hours south of Mexico City. And I had the opportunity to go over there to go grade school, middle school, junior high school, and 2 years of high school. It was not until 1988, when I was 17, that I decided to come back to Laredo. I share this story right now because it comes with, every time they introduce me and I hear my name, this story comes to my mind. So when I came back, I was an ESL student. My English was limited or almost non-existent, right? I knew numbers, the days, a couple of things, but I wanted to learn how to read and write so I could pass the ASVAB because I wanted to serve. When I came to the country, I was able to enroll in Nixon in high school. I was an ESL student, and one of my teachers, I remember that she was an Anglo teacher. She spoke mostly English, very few Spanish, but when she called roll, she would get to a name, she would say, Paul Torres, Paul Torres, and I remember looking around, and nobody would answer. Right, the next day again, Paul Torres, and I just raised my hand, you didn't call my name. So you knew, yes ma'am. He said, how come you don't call my name? He said, just sign the bottom of the list, I'll check with the registrar's office, and tomorrow I'll make sure that I'll call your name. Well, the next day, here comes, they're calling roll, and the teacher says, Paul Torres, Paul Torres. And I'm serious when I'm telling you this. I said to myself, that kid never shows up. After that, the teacher approached me, how come you don't answer when I call your name? Leo, ma'am, you didn't call my name. Yes, you're Paul Torres. And I started laughing, and I started myself, Paul Torres. Well, with that time, my English was, my accent was heavier. I couldn't say Paul without smiling, Paul without trying not to laugh. It was not until later on that I got used to be called Paul. But back then, I used to call myself Paul Torres Fox because in Mexico, you use both last name. And all of a sudden, since 1990, I became Paul Torres. Well, with that said, Paul Torres got the opportunity to serve his country. As we honor our veterans, I want to take the opportunity to make sure that we don't forget, like Congressman said, and our fellow veterans, that the veteran is less than 1% of our population, current population. Yet, I know that everybody knows a veteran. They either friend, family member, they always know a veteran, but it's a small population. Also, I want to make sure that we honor not only the veterans, but also recognize the family members. The wives, they have to say goodbye. The small children, they have to hug their fathers and mothers, family members, and see them off, hopefully come back. Those family members that sometimes they don't get parades, they don't get ribbons, but they have to endure the separations and everything that goes with a deployment. Those family members which support those service members, they need to be recognized as well. In addition, I would like to also take the opportunity to mention a couple of veterans, and I'm going to forget some, but I want to mention veterans that I have met throughout my time here serving and networking. Veterans that are from Laredo, from the Laredo area, that have established a friendship or bonds, and we have met. Veterans such as Arnoldo Gutierrez, I remember, rest in peace, but he was a Korean War veteran, and we became drinking coffee buddies. So we go to drink coffee and tell stories. He'll share something from his side of the world. I'll share something from my side of the world. And his son, who went to high school with me, he said after a couple of coffee talks and everything, his dad started to open up to family members. I remember also from the Korea, and most of you already know, Mr. Ernesto Sanchez, who his grandson and my son were playing. We're in the same basketball team. We would go to the games. He would share some jokes, and veteran to veteran, we see each other a lot. And y'all know that Mr. Sanchez is avid to ensure that all Korea War veterans are honored, as well as all the veterans, but ensure that the war is not forgotten. So he's very active. I remember spending time also with veterans and recognized veterans from the Vietnam era. Among those, I got to work with a veteran by the name of Samayala. Samayala is a very recognized veteran in our area. Samayala is a Vietnam veteran that fought in the south part of Vietnam. I remember that he was recognized one time, and this touches my heart because when he was being recognized after Vietnam, Tet survivor, he fought in the Tet campaign. In 1968, one of the deadliest battles, he came back to Laredo, became a police officer, retired police officer, became a probation officer, and then after that, he became a counselor, and then started working with veterans and mentoring them. When this time, many years back, he was being recognized, among all those cheers and everything, that all his accolades and his accomplishment, and people knew that he was still serving his community after all his services. I remember after said and done, he was back at I went from the podium. I went to give him a strong handshake, a quick hug. But I remember he looked at my eyes with conviction in his voice, and he said, "Brother, I'm home now. I'm home." Because those of you that serve in Vietnam, you know that when you were serving over there, you didn't have these parades. You don't have all these things. You sometimes, at the airport, you have to change because you're afraid how the community is going to react. So my hats off to you. My respects to you. Sam, I'm happy to see you. Veterans also, as my former company commander, Captain Diaz de Leon, now a lieutenant colonel. He's serving now as a commander for one of the teams for the Border Patrol. How cool is that? He's about to retire, but before he retired, he had the opportunity to swear in his eldest son. He welcomed his son into the service, and how the opportunity of having his younger son, his son in uniform, him in uniform, and have the actual swearing ceremony, and it's something amazing and something that I'm happy that our tradition and our legacy is passing down to our future veterans. I also like to recognize Sergeant Randy Villanueva. When in Afghanistan, he was a very young sergeant, but hungry, eager. He already had been to Iraq, a couple of deployments, and he was not hesitate to share his experience, expertise, and you can see the conviction in his eyes, the commitment to his country, the commitment to his fellow service members, and you knew that he was ready to accomplish the mission with no hesitation. Thank you, Randy. I also want to mention my younger brother, who had a really bad motorcycle accident. And after that accident, he broke his femur, tibia, fibula, his ankle. His foot was next to his chin. The kneecap was next to his groin. He cracked his hip, had no helmet. Motorcycle was done. He was okay per se. A week later after that accident, he had to get his gallbladder removal. And 2 days later, he was released. And he said, "I'm getting released from the hospital. Bring me a suit because we're going to a quinceañera. I don't care, I'm in a wheelchair. Take me to a quinceañera." Well, the doctors told my brother, with that injury, it'll take you about 18 months to recover, or you probably walk with a walker with a limp. And after that, with therapy, maybe with a cane or something, you'll be able to move around, but that injury, we're trying to save the foot. Needless to say, after 4 months, he was trying to walk with a walker. After 6 months, he started his therapy. After a year, he re-injured himself, but because he decided to play soccer. So he was stubborn, but Needless to say, he recovered and everything. And the following few months, he was called to serve in Iraq. So whenever they do the physical, he still had a 14-inch scar on his knee, fresh. He still had a scar in his for his gallbladder. He still had a lot of things that from that accident, and he's doing his sit-ups and everything. And the doctor says, "Son, are you sure you're ready to serve?" And he said, "I can still do my job." So my hat's off to my little brother, because anybody else would say, you know, I got a dodgy knee or leg. So there's people like that have that commitment, that desire to serve when it's called upon. Our country needs us. I've seen many young people, right, they get forged into warriors. When they get forged into warriors, they know that it's not the same as any regular job. The military, you know, like they say, you have the best, worst days of your life, but also you build bonds, and you know that you're bigger than yourself. I had the opportunity to serve among great people, and now that I'm working with the Veterans Treatment Program, I'm trying to assist the DA's office and the different organizations to provide a service for those veterans that might suffer from either mental health, have pending cases, or something that might impede them to go transition. I want to make sure that our countrymen that deserve an opportunity to go through a program so they can mitigate any charges, so they can have a better chance to address some of the challenges with perhaps PTSD or mental health or something. So not only them, but their families as well can go ahead and go move forward. In closing, I would like to thank everybody who ever wore a uniform. Those persons that had the courage to sign that dotted line. Because we all know that when it's easy, I got a letter from the recruiter, or a lot of people do, but very few go to their office. Very few raise their right hand. Very few endure the challenges of the training. Very few have to go to deployments. And those that ever wear a uniform, my hats off, my respects, because very few. There's a saying that we all heard, right? Especially among veterans, right? All gave some gave all. So for those that we lost, we honor them. And as we honor our veterans, I welcome our community that in order to say thank you to a veteran, not only thank you with a word, but with deeds. What can we do to be better Americans? What can we do to ensure that we earned what all the veterans, all the sacrifices that they commit? How can I keep my community? How can I be a person of service? I don't have to be a veteran to be a person of service. There are organizations out there that serve our community. I want to be part of that. I want our young people to be part of people of service in any capacity. And I want to appreciate those organizations that give those young people opportunity to hone leadership skills, to serve the community, and to move forward. Ms. Basan, you have an organization that focuses on teenagers and people. Let's continue to serve our country in any capacity we can. Let's honor our veterans, like I said, with deeds. Let's be Americans that deserve every sacrifice that our veterans did. With that, I say thank you. Thank you to my community. Thank you for all veterans. And may God bless America. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. Now, we have the presence of a very special guest, our Mayor, Victor Trevino. Mayor, can you please come forward and give us a few words?
Thank you very much, and good morning, everyone. Dr. Victor Trevino, Mayor for the City of Laredo. To me, it's an honor to be here, to be in the presence of so many heroes. All veterans to me are heroes. I don't get tired of saying these words over and over again, because these are words that have to perdure and stay forever. And as we celebrate this Veterans Day, we sometimes forget that freedom is something that's a holiday, but it's much more than that. It's an every way of life, everyday way of life that we have freedom for, and was paid for by so many Americans, but specifically Laredoans and family members and community members. We often remember the victories against evil and tyranny and repression, but we forget that these victories are now possible because of our efforts and the political freedom that has been created for future generations. The wars showed us that the strength of our great nation is what we believe in. It's a common cause. And by acting together for higher means and higher purposes and qualities of life, we can make peace and furtherance in the common interests of our humanity. So I thank those who are here today in honor of these principles, and especially our fallen heroes and people from our community. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor. Again, thank you for attending this memorable event, and let's not forget that freedom is not free. Remember that less than 1% of the U.S. population is on guard duty while we enjoy the freedom they provide with their service to our country. I would say a little story that happened to me a little bit along the lines, that Paul went through. I remember being shipped to Fort Dix, and I was waiting for my name to be called to be flown to Germany. And they would come out and call out the names. We would fall in formation, and they would say, "Oh, say games." And I didn't hear my name. So I would go back to the barracks. And then at noon, they would call out the names again, and Jose Games was called out, but I didn't really pay attention to it, because it did not sound like Jose Gomez. So I'm at the barracks when a couple of NPs come in, and they thought I had deserted. And it says, "You haven't been, answering, the roll call to be shipped, to Germany, because my name is not Jose Games. My name is Jose Gomez." So it was something similar to you, Paul. Before I forget, I personally want to thank Dr. Julie Basan for assisting us in this special, Julie is a very special person who assists veterans, and believe it or not, she served as the first president of LULAC Council 777 as the president, and that's a Veterans Council. Dr. Basan, muchas gracias. Also, thanks to all the veteran organizations who for participating, making this event possible. VFW Commander Jaime Mendiola, Jesus Segovia Catholic War Veterans, and the staff of the Area Health Education Center. You did a beautiful job, and I want to thank you. Thank you, and God bless all of you. Thank you for being here with us today.